Hello everybody, it's VideoGameWarlord, and welcome to some more Lines of Battle, but World War II edition. This is very different. As you can see, whole new units, whole new map, whole new game style. So I'm going to go ahead and explain how this works really quick. And I did play some games of this before this one, but all those were either battles where I didn't know what I was doing, or my opponent didn't know what they were doing. So yeah, you kind of had to really figure it out. I'm going to explain it to you guys right now. So, you have your army, you have your basic line infantry. That's all well fine. You just move them forward, take points, and stuff them in, good terrain, and just try and hold a front line. These guys, awesome. Armored, these are your tanks basically. It's mostly covered up. You really had to move it up there. Whatever. So we have armored guys now. And the armored guys are really good because they're pretty fast, as opposed to the motorized, which are also fast, but they're just infantry. So quick as well, but not as strong. My opponent today has 5 armored, along with 12 motorized, whereas I've gone ahead and I just have 11 armored units. And the way this works is you really want to focus around supply, because I can't click on the units now, but if you saw the tank one from earlier, there is, it's off screen, but there's supply on these units, and if your units run out of supply, they will do very poorly. I think you can see it as this bar, maybe. So we've engaged early in the center here. I figured I'd just run my armor into his and just try and kill all this off here really quick, because I don't think I saw too much of his stuff. Yeah, vision's really limited on this. So for the initial engagement, you really don't see any of your opponents. And also, yeah, so I was really fighting in the dark here. And then boom, it just all pops into vision. So it's really, the line of sight is a lot, it's a lot different than standard lines of battle. It's a lot more limited. So I am moving up to take these woods, and we are currently engaged in this armored fight in the center. And he doesn't see anything over here, or anything up and over here, and he's moving into the woods as well. So this, I believe, we just kind of really, yeah, we just pop in on each other. I do kind of manage to surround him, and then he also kind of manages to surround me, though. So I really do a beating to his armor, but he also takes my armor out as well, which is quite unfortunate. One thing I will note, supply, super important. So, you'll notice, I have my guy sitting on my main supply point. This is something I learned from all those previous battles where I didn't know what I was doing. Because if you see all these railroads, these are supply lines. If you lose these points, your units do not get supply. And if they do not get supply, they die really quick. And they cannot fight as well or as effectively. So you want your units to be supplied. So this guy's low on supply, so yeah, you can see the bars. Thankfully that's supply. This guy's running out of supply because he's in a lot of combat. He's kind of getting fucked on. And he needs to be closer to the rail. No, he's just going to break. So yeah, supply. And then that dude, he just, yeah, see the bar's gone, so he has all of his supply. So super important if you lose these points. Like if I lost this point, like he is going for at the moment. So, we're fighting over the woods and everything, but he's going to take this. All of my supply has been effectively cut off here. It does not come from back here. It comes from the main point. So, none of these units are getting supply now on this flank. And that is really not good. Yeah, all the bars just popped up. That is, that's not good. So now my units over there are not getting supply. He's making this push through the center because he's effectively broken it. He took out my armor from earlier. And I am just attempting to make a line in these woods because I have the numbers on this left flank of mine, his right. So I've been able to push him out. Down here, though, we're going to go and follow this guy for a second. I managed to push him out of the woods. right? And this is from earlier in the battle, so we're still contesting the woods. He's making his major push through the center. I cut off a bit of his supply, right? Theoretically. But I book it. Alright, so his supply is temporarily cut off from this main branch, thankfully. Because that's not going through there, it's not going through there. Yeah, so all these guys are lacking in supply now. He's going to go ahead and take it back. But this guy, I am booging down to his main capital point, where all his supply comes from. That's something you have to protect. So, otherwise, he was definitely winning this at this point. I've lost more units. I was starting to lose my reorg. He had a lot more victory points on the map. So he was absolutely decimating me, right? He pushed me into this pocket in the woods that he's really just hammering away at. I did manage to break through here, thankfully, with my overwhelming numbers of line. But now that he has no supply, we'll just speed through this, go back a little bit. So, push to the center, we're fighting over the woods, I move down, and he's pushing me pretty much everywhere at the moment, right? And he's taking these back points too, so I really don't have supply either. Thankfully there's not much to contest over here. So now he's running back to try and get my guy. I mean, it's armored though, it's gonna be super hard with infantry to push him off the point. And I am using my own armor just to slam into his motorized guys so I can get my supply back up, which varies depending on how fresh the unit is. Although he's boogieing off now because the armored guy just came in. Whew. There's so much going on in these battles. I could technically go into the more detailed stuff, but a lot of it comes down to really just the supply points and managing to hold them. Hold your own supply points for one, because you can see I'm making a desperate last charge here. Because I've cleaned up most of everything over here, because none of his units are getting supply. I have his point, right? And I have just armored guys protecting his point, so he does go for one last final charge on my capital, but I just have too many armored guys around, and they just all slam and annihilate that. He was cleaning me up everywhere else, to be fair, at first, but now it's flipped around pretty brutally. That's just because I cut off his supply. Which I think that's the biggest point, is that even if you're like a really good player, you just have to leave one guy back on your main point. Because just one enemy unit getting on it just ruins the entire battle for you. I think that's basically the only way I won this one. Because he was pretty much breaking me here and over here. And he did clean up that whole... It's turned into a pocket eventually, right? Because he broke through the center, I retreated into the woods. And I had the numbers here. But you can see him just going around and surrounding this bit and just slowly, yeah, he got the supply point and just annihilated these guys for the most part. Yeah, that's not, that was brutal. And that's, yeah, that was, I was kind of stressed just around little stuff like that, and he definitely cleaned me up over on this side. But that's just because this was a skeleton force anyways. This kind of held. Yeah, it was mainly holding that supply point though. Yeah. Alright, anyways, GG's. Likes for like God, comments for the comment throne. Subscribe by the will of the Omnissiah. I'll see you guys next time.